Three,
Well, I guess you're ready too, huh?
two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another exciting film journey here on Delusions of Grandeur. I am your host, and today we are going to go on about a classic horror film called
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
filmed in 1984 and
Every town has an Elm Street.
directed by Wes Craven. We have Johnny Depp starring in his first role.
Introducing Johnny Depp.
Yeah, it's weird to see him so young sometimes.
Yeah, if I hadn't read his name, I wouldn't have recognized him.
But we also have, let's see what IMDb says about the film. Heather, it's hard to say her name sometimes. Langenkamp, who is plays the role of Nancy. Johnny Depp plays Glenn Lantz. We have Robert Englund in the pivotal role of Freddy Krueger for the first time. John Saxon, the late John Saxon, unfortunately, as Lieutenant Thompson.
Oh, he passed away.
Renee Blakely as Marge Thompson, our Bluesy. Amanda Weiss, Tina Gray, and I know that, yeah, that's right, Lynn Shay shows up in here too. So she's kind of a pivotal name in horror these days. She kind of headed the whole Insidious franchise, sort of.
Never saw it.
But in any case, let's see what IMDb says about the film, and then we'll go into our first impressions. Teenager Nancy Thompson must uncover the dark truth concealed by her parents after she and her friends become targets of the spirit of a serial killer with a bladed glove in their dreams.
Nightmares.
Well, in which they die, it kills them in real life. So, first impressions. Well, since this was your pick, Ro, why don't you tell us? Was this a first time watch for you?
In 1984. I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen it. Several times I've seen it. I love the movies. Yeah, it's just it's a blast to watch, and Nightmare on Elm Street 1 and 2, special place in my heart. You know, they're the two definitely horror movies. After that, they went comedy horror, and 3 is still my favorite, even though it's comedy horror. But I tend to like comedy horror better than just straight up horror, anyways. But I still love the first and second one as well. It's great. Freddy is just, he's just not a mindless killer. He's a killer. He's a great killer, but he's inventive and he's funny. if you like that kind of sick sense of humor, which evidently I do. So
he is a bit of a spoodower sometimes.
He's not as funny in the first and second. I mean, he's got a couple lines that are kind of chuckle-worthy, but yeah, gets more funnier like 3 and on. But yeah, still, it's just I don't know. I've always liked the character, and I don't root for him. I want him to lose because it's Freddy, except for when he fought Jason, because he definitely should have won there. And then, but that's not the point. But yeah, Freddy's been my favorite horror villain as long as I can remember, and my grandson actually loves Freddy as well. It's pretty funny.
Wow.
So yeah, he loves horror movies, and yeah, He's turning 5 in February, so 4 years old. He already loves Freddy and Jason and Michael and the
Nice.
horror trio. Yeah. My daughter is not like horror movies, but his father does horror movie podcasts. So yeah, he takes after his father with that aspect. So yeah. Anyways, I love the movie, but that's my first impression. Let's come to you, Boris, because I believe this is your first time watching the original.
Actually, yeah. A while ago, I watched the remake,
That
but
doesn't
yeah,
count.
but yeah, the original I haven't seen until now, much to my shame. Honestly, it's because although I don't really dislike slashers, but when it comes to the horror genre, I usually feel more compelled to watch something with something more plot driven. That's where the horror doesn't rely plainly on the killings.
Yeah, I mean, I like Supernatural mostly too, but I just like I said, Freddy is just special.
Yeah, uh, but I did enjoy the movie. It was a good combination of intense and fun. Maybe I would say my only issue is that we didn't get much insight into how Freddy became able to appear in people's dreams and how the things he has in the dreams are able to appear in real life when someone grabs them in a dream and so on. I wish we got to hear more about how he developed those powers and
Well, that's
everything.
the mystery, man. They don't ever really tell you. It's the they leave that open, and I like that. I like that mystery there, as to how he does the things he does. I mean, you get to find out kind of why he became the way he became, and later movies if you've seen them. But they never do tell you really how he gets the powers to go into to dreamscape and to go into people's dreams. So that's dreamscaping. But to actually be able to kill people in their dreams and then being able to pull him out of the dreams is something unique as well. I think Nancy's been only one, but in the first movie, Nancy's the only one that can do it. So, it could be something that she has a power of. Dreamscaping is definitely a real thing. I mean, I used to be able to dreamscape, did it all the time, went into people's dreams and stuff. But yeah,
Wait, what?
I used to go into people's dreams.
You?
Yeah,
How?
dreamscape.
Yeah, but how do you do something like that?
Can't
I'm
explain it. It's
assuming
just
that it has something to do with astral projection.
no, astral projection is completely different. I've done astral projection as well. It's just another form of ESP. It's just I mean, when people say ESP, they think, oh, reading people's mind. That's telekinesis. That's one form of ESP. There's many forms of ESP. Astral projection is not actually ESP. Something different, but yeah. It's just control over your mind, control over your dreams, control over what you're doing in your dreams. It's a lot harder to go into someone else's dream. I can't do it anymore. I can still control my dreams though, to a degree. But I learned that when I was a kid because I used to have nightmares, and instead of worrying about them or stop having them, I just learned to control them.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have always been a mysterious thing. What's the weirdest dream that any of you have had?
I have so many weird dreams, man. I couldn't even begin to tell you which one is the weirdest. I mean, I had a weird dream of like this girl coming up to me today and like it's like pretend you're my boyfriend. I'm like, oh, okay. And like she hands me a phone. And, like this guy's like asking me questions, and I'm like, okay. Oh, it's really weird.
Uh,
The last vivid dream that I had was when I was a little younger, and apparently I was running away from something, and there was like a lake of blood around an island with a broken down stone cross upside down.
You call that
And
weird?
ooh,
I wrote about it. So,
ooh, interesting.
Oh yeah, and earlier I had a dream. I was playing EverQuest 2 and saving people's lives with my wizard. Really weird.
Interesting. Uh, uh, I remember one really weird dream that I had, but it was rather long, so I'm not sure I should take so much time with that one. But I also remember another kind of funny one where I was some student in a school, but that was some weird school where there were students of all ages, like elementary school, middle school, high school, college, all in the same school. And I remember I was walking around the corridors in the building of that school, and there was some machine, kind of like a coffee machine you have at some places, but in this machine, instead of coffee, you could buy beer, and kids were
You can't drink
somehow.
coffee in school.
Sorry, what?
You can't buy coffee in school. What kind of schools you go to?
No, no, not in real life, but in real life you can buy coffee at some in those machines at some places. I don't know, uh, whatever companies where people work and so on. But yeah, in this dream at that school, they had a beer machine, and some kids were stealing beer from that machine, and some of them were drinking it, some were spilling it across the floor, making a mess everywhere. Um, stuff like that. Yeah, it was weird.
yeah. Um, I remember hearing about kids that like after I was in school there were some schools that actually like had McDonald's like delivered to the lunchroom, and that was their lunch food. I was like, I wish I would have been a kid at those schools.
Make
But
it Burger King, and I agree.
but in any case, uh, we went and had your thoughts, first thoughts on Nightmare, right, Boris?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Heading over to you, Tammy. Was this the first time watch for you?
No, I actually think I might have seen this in the theater because of when it came out. Because for some reason, I'm remembering that, when he takes the knives and he runs them across the thing and then makes that really like chalkboard noise.
Yeah.
I remember that being really loud. I think I saw it in a theater, and I remember something about being in the theater when he did that, and it was just so loud. Like everybody in like the whole theater, I think, like cringed because it was so fucking loud.
I can imagine.
That's awesome.
So, but yeah, I kind of remember my first time because it was quite a long time ago. I do remember seeing it like basically when it came out. I'm 99% sure I saw it in the theater, just because I'm remembering that loud noise. And yeah, I liked it. Everybody that I know that but it was a bunch of us, and it was hyped up, you know, because it's Wes Craven and da 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 da, and I think I think I remember everybody afterwards going, don't go to sleep tonight, and all the jokes and stuff and everything.
Never
But
Sleep
yeah,
Again.
Do you remember the extended version of the song?
no.
11, 12 is coming straight from hell.
No, I didn't remember that part.
Yeah, that was just added on. I don't know. We said it all around here all the time. Um,
But I liked it.
exactly.
I do remember I liked it and I thought it was unique, now that, now that Freddie and Jason and Michael have been out, you know, out of the three, I'd have to say I like Freddie the best.
He's the best.
If I have to choose between those three, it's definitely the Nightmare movies. I think because there's actually a little bit more of a storyline, I think, in the Nightmare movies than there is with Friday the 13th and Halloween. It just
Oh
seems
yeah,
like there's more of a storyline with the Nightmare ones.
and Freddy's way more interesting.
Yeah, Freddy's more interesting because he just doesn't walk up and slash you. There's something else going on
And
always.
there's a reason he chose the people he's after too. He doesn't just randomly kill people. He's going after the kids of the people that burned him alive. I mean,
Well,
But
we
we
don't find that out right away. We didn't even find that out totally in the first one.
yeah,
It
they tell you that.
will tell you it's somewhat, but it becomes more apparent that that's what he's doing as the sequels go on. It becomes more
Freddy's
apparent.
Revenge,
Mhm.
Dream Warriors.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was unique. Definitely a different type of a slasher movie at the time. So if I didn't
Never
like
be
it, I wouldn't have
defeated.
continued watching the rest of them.
Have you seen them all?
Yes,
Which is your favorite?
Dream Warriors.
Yep, 3. Same here.
Plus, I like Dokken.
Yeah, that soundtrack just kicks ass.
I've seen Dokken, so I like Dokken.
Well, I was born in '84, so I didn't exactly see the film when it came out, but I did
Oh,
see it at
Could
least
have.
in my tweens. Uh, and I like the series. I think it gets quite comical. I mean, there's only one other franchise that I could say that involves horror comedy, but not
uh,
quite in the same way, which is Leprechaun. Um, at
Never
least
watched
it
Evil
uses
Dead?
comedy. You know,
I thought you would say Scream.
I thought he was going to say Evil Dead.
no, that one just takes a comedy turn like instantly, like after it's like you get the serious one, and then you get the sequel that's a remake that has a little bit more comedy and humor to it, and then of course it gets wacky in 3. So, but
well,
So have you seen
unfortunately, Eight-Legged Freaks didn't have a sequel, but that was definitely a horror comedy.
have you seen all Nightmare on Elm Street movies?
I have seen all of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
And which is your favorite?
I would have to say it's a combination between 3 and 4.
4 is my second, but yeah, I can see that.
But I mean, the story changes as it goes, and it's like it's dark in this very first one,
First
uh,
2. Second one's just
and
dark.
in 2 just a little bit. But the punchlines get more humorous and corny. But corny, I like. So as the series progresses, I think Freddy grows into his character, especially since he started in comedy roots on the show V. You know, so but Me, I like this film. I like the idea of a killer that you can't see, and I enjoy it every time that I come to it. Of course, I do enjoy the other, slasher franchises, and I'm not sure whether I would put this like above all of them because there's something I like from all of them. So I can't really say that this is my favorite franchise. There are bits and pieces from each franchise that I like, and it's hard to pit them against. See, Michael, he does have a storyline. I disagree, agree in that aspect, and so does Jason. Jason has a storyline too. And
Freddy's is better than all of them, so.
No comment. But in any case, let's get into the storyline a little bit. So,
One thing I was gonna say though is I like Robert Englund as an actor, and I think he's been good in other things he's been in too, not just
Oh, he's great.
this. So, but I think one thing for sure, he will always be remembered first and foremost for this role as being
Oh, yeah.
Freddy.
I agree.
So,
Yeah. But I did love him in V as well. I mean, it's just such a different role. He was such a lovable alien, and he was the only good alien amongst them all. And he helped the humans as much as he could. He seemed like he was just such a nice guy and such a completely different role as Freddy. Just complete opposite of Freddy. Shows the depth of his acting ability.
Oh yeah, for sure. But we get the character of a young blonde woman who is best friends with our main character.
Tina.
Yes, Tina. And she just so happens to be stalked in her nightmares by a man who has 4 razors for his hand. So, so we see her getting chased in what looks to be like an old factory. And I love these beginning shots because it shows the steam, it shows the pipes, it shows this world that Freddy lives in, and it's basically scaring the shit out of her. So when
I mean, you really feel like you're in a boiler room. Actually, right before that, you actually see Freddy making the glove with the in making the he's cutting the metal, he's breaking it up, he's sharpening it. He actually makes the knives on and puts it onto the glove, and he makes it so they're posable, so he can put his fingers in and move them like they're part of an extension of his hand. You actually see him making it, and then you see her in the dream in the boiler room where he was making it. And, yeah, I love that little beginning part because it just kind of gives you a little bit of a, not really backstory, just kind of, like you get to see him make his weapons, that he ends up using. And they're very iconic. I mean, anyone, you see anyone wearing gloves with like knives or the costume, whatever, you immediately know it's Freddy. Usually they're plastic what they're using, but and walk around with real nice, be dangerous. But yeah. It's immediately it's Freddy. Like I said, he's the most. I feel like he's the most iconic because he has the most iconic weapon. He has one of the most iconic look. Anyone can play Jason. Anyone just about can play Michael Myers. Just throw the masks on, and you're those characters. Not anyone can play Freddy. A lot of controversy with the reboot. I think the guy did okay. He's not Robert Englund. So unfortunately, only Robert Englund can play Freddy the best. I mean, the other guy did okay, but he's just not Robert Englund, which isn't his fault. But just that's the way it is. Robert Englund is Freddy, and not anyone can play Freddy. Only Robert Englund can really play Freddy, and that's the unique thing about Freddy, where anyone can play the other ones, but only Robert Englund can play Freddy.
But so she wakes up from this so-called nightmare, and she ends up telling her best friend.
Well, before that, her mother came in.
Yeah.
She was screaming, and she's like, "You gotta stop this!" And you look and you see her nightgown is cut. And her mother thinks that she did it with her fingernails. She's like, "You gotta stop having these nightmares, or cut your fingernails, whichever." And then her rude ass boyfriend comes in, like, "You get in the bed," like, just doesn't even give a shit about the daughter or anything. Obviously, he just, all he cares about is getting fucking his booty, and that's it. Seems like a little scumbag. You don't really have much more of them, except that they're in Vegas afterwards, and obviously, the mother doesn't care that much about her daughter. Just cares about the boyfriend. The boyfriend is just
the typical badass boyfriend.
Yeah. Well, he just doesn't even look badass though. He just looks like a scumbag. Yeah, but yeah, definitely doesn't give you any kind of good impression.
But what was even so bad about him? I mean, he was innocent, wasn't he?
No, because he came in while she's trying to talk to her daughter about the nightmares, and he's like, "Oh, you come back to bed?" Like all he cares about is getting his pussy. I mean, the woman's trying to fucking talk to her daughter. Like.
Yeah, but from what I understood, he didn't know what was happening there, did he?
He was there and he heard the screams.
Oh, okay, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, he's not stupid. He didn't give a shit.
Okay, I'm not sure about him not being stupid.
Well, he might be stupid, but he still heard the screams. Okay, so better saying he's not deaf.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, in any case, she ends up telling her friend Nancy that she's really scared of these dreams, and she asks if she can help spend the night with her. And I guess her mother's goes on vacation, and
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's character comes over, and I do like this little segment of Johnny Depp when he has this boombox with the tapes and whatnot. He's got all these sounds and stuff like that. He's like as you can see that they're teenagers that are used to making sure that their parents know that they're okay.
Oh yeah, I'm at my cousin's house near the airport. Yeah, it's all the noise. And, oh, that was just the car accident. And you hear shots.
I think it was
the girls are over there laughing their asses off.
I think it was creative, no matter what, because that's what kids had those days, a tape player, just to use sounds and whatnot, and that boombox he stuck the tapes into, that looked kind of ancient compared to nowadays technology,
Yeah, although I must
like that.
I must say that scene did kind of make me wonder if he wanted his mother not to worry. Why would he play sounds like a car accident?
Well, I think he was
on
the phone longer. He was on the phone longer than he expected, so he didn't record the airport sounds long enough. So just like the accident and the bullets and all, that was obviously an accident, and he didn't need to do that.
And the girls ended up like pushing something on there too, and fucking it up for him. So
no, they were actually trying to shut it off, but they hit the wrong thing. I'm like, why don't you just turn the volume down? Just fucking get off the phone.
But shortly after that, they end up going outside for a moment, and that's when the boyfriend, the douche boyfriend, shows up. And
I would say he was a douche. He just wasn't, I mean, he was kind of funny. He got the line where he's talking. They were talking about the nightmare where they're walking, and he comes up. He goes, "Oh, I just woke up with a boner, and it has your name on it," said to Tina. And of course, she said, "How can it? My name has 4 letters, and it won't fit." And then he's like, "Fuck you!" And he gets mad.
of course, she comes to a door and says, "Nancy, are you gonna leave me with this creep?" You know.
The moment I found the funniest, while all the 4 of them were still alive, was when Tina and Rod were having sex, and Nancy and Glenn were listening in the other room, and Tina was moaning, "Oh God, oh God, oh Rod." That really cracked me up.
Yeah, poor Glenn was sitting there going, "Man, I wish I was having sex instead of listening to it." I mean, he tried kissing.
I mean, he tried
Nancy.
to make out with her outside, and she was like,
Nancy was
"No,
just
we're
like,
here
"No, we're here for Tina, not for us." We can't be both.
Yeah, my thought pretty much.
Can't be both. I mean, they're having fun.
Yeah, like
a lot of good they did.
Why not while the other 2 are doing it?
Exactly. Here's a lot of orgy.
Well, and
Yeah.
while Nancy was sleeping, this is where we get like a very cool effect.
She fucking sleeps very fucking deep, man.
Yeah.
Tina was screaming for quite a while before she fucking woke up. Same with Glenn as well.
But I believe we saw the face and the arms of Freddy poking out of the wall. Like the wall was.
Oh, when he was looking at Nancy?
Yeah.
I think he was looking in. He's like, "Wait, you're not that same girl." And then he's like, then he goes back in the wall because then she puts the crucifix back on the wall because she had it down on the bed.
Yeah. But ultimately, Tina falls asleep. She's back in the factory or whatnot, and she ends up being caught by Freddy. He begins to slash at her. Meanwhile, the boyfriend has woken up, and he just is backed away from the bed. He moves the sheet, sees her, and that's when you see the 4 slash marks go like down her the front of her stomach, and he sees her body raise up. It gets dragged to
the ceiling,
and then up the wall to the ceiling,
and across the ceiling. Right before that, right while she's being raised, Freddy actually kicked the boyfriend with her feet and kicked him into the corner. Well, he fell back and watched in horror as nothing killed his girlfriend.
One thing I found really bizarre there was when Rod heard Tina screaming. He pulled the blanket off, and then he was just staring at her instead of trying to shake her out of the nightmare.
He was stunned because he didn't know what the fuck was happening.
Yeah, because she was just laying there, like shaking, and like there's nothing there. And all of a sudden, there's fucking cut marks on her, and there's nothing there.
Yeah,
so
but no, I mean before the cut marks appeared, while it
I know.
looked
Well,
like
she was still shaking, and there was nothing there, so he was just kind of stunned, like didn't know. I mean, you gotta see the guy wasn't that bright. I mean, he wasn't a killer or anything, and but he wasn't that smart. He just he was kind of an idiot. So
Yeah.
But then she gets killed, and finally Nancy and Glenn come in and find them, and he's already gone out the window because
Yep.
I guess he was afraid or whatever. So they automatically think, did he do it?
Well, I think
you
he
know.
was. He ran out the window, shouting, "I'm gonna get you, guy!" Thinking that there was still some kind of maniac out there.
Yeah,
Maybe
and,
he missed him or something like that.
and
Yeah,
then of course
so
the police show up, and and it's Nancy's father. He's a lieutenant, and
Yeah,
they
he walks in
automatically
and he's wondering
assume it's the
what was there.
boyfriend, and um
mm,
and of course Nancy's friend, she ends up going to school, and so they follow her, and they end up getting finding him, and they used her as bait without her even knowing it, and they caught him, and they found he had a switchblade, so they automatically assume that's the weapon, and I mean. I could understand the assumption. I mean, he was there, and he did have a knife, and supposedly got into a fight.
Well,
Um,
and the typical idea of police is that they want to close the case as soon as possible. So
yeah,
automatically they'll leave,
open shut.
especially
I mean,
with the history of police in
typically,
small towns.
typically in real murders in real life, it's usually a loved one or someone that does the killing. Usually it's not random. It's so that usually is a good guess that it's a husband, a wife, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, whatever. It's more often than not that that's the case. Sadly enough, because murder, especially like cutting like that, is emotional, and no, what would cause more emotion than a love gone bad or something like that. So unfortunately, that's just the way it works, and the way it goes. A lot of times they're probably right. Unfortunately, when it comes to the movie, it's not that simple, and they finally figured that out. But um, Glenn unfortunately is arrested and is in jail, and
you mean Rod?
Rod, yeah, sorry, yeah, Rod.
Mm.
Um, Stupid name.
Uh, yeah.
And of course, Nancy's having dreams, and she feels that Rod's in trouble, and she tries to see him, and her father won't let him, and he's sleeping in his cell. We tell you, and then they finally go in, and they
Well,
find him
this is
hung up.
after she has a nightmare of Freddy.
Well, they all were having the nightmare. They all had it. Like she even told me, Tina, that she had the same dream. Now you could tell Glenn did too, the way he listened and he reacted to it, but he didn't say anything.
He didn't say anything until he was in the jail cell.
Yeah, but Rod did. Rod said something. No, Glenn was never in the jail cell.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Rod said something to Tina before she died, that he had a nightmare too, and it was the same one. And she's like, "You had a nightmare?" And he's like, "What? Yeah. What, you think women corner the market on it or something?"
Well,
And
before
of course,
she gets
and
to
he's
be
in
in the
jail.
before she
And
gets to
Nancy's
visit him
trying
in
to.
jail, she has the nightmare or daymare
Yeah, and Nancy's
class.
trying to see him because she knows he's in trouble. And meanwhile, he's being slowly strangled by the sheets. Freddy's strangling him and hangs him up. And quite frankly, that's where they messed up a little bit.
But before that, Nancy has.
He would. I don't think he would have died that quick
Oh my God!
from the hanging, because they were there pretty fucking quick, and he was already dead, and he shouldn't have been dead yet.
But before that, Nancy has the daymare in class,
I know, we said that already.
Oh,
You said that already.
which is kind of,
Yeah.
gruesome in a way.
Well, yeah, she fell asleep in class, and she had the dream in class, and she woke up
Yeah.
screaming.
But I will always remember the scene of the body being dragged down the hall, and that's what she's following, and
Oh yeah, and then she runs into the hall monitor, and she's like, "Hall pass," and I don't have no hall pass, and then all of a sudden the girl turns into like partial Freddy, like still has the girl face, but then she has his sweater and his fingernails, and she's like, "Yeah, hall pass," and it's creepy and funny at the same time.
yeah, and she follows the trail down the stairs, and
Now the weirdest thing is, okay, sees Tina's body being dragged, dead body being dragged, and she's like, "Tina, like Tina's gonna answer her." Okay, she's not gonna answer. If she does answer you, I'd be afraid because she's dead. So yeah, that was a little silly too. Like, why the hell is she calling her name?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we get all that, and then of course Rod dying, which, like I said, I don't think he had enough time to die. Like the sheet isn't strong enough to snap his neck. And yeah, hanging that long enough it could kill him, but he wasn't there that long. So I think, like I said, that was kind of a little bit of a mistake in the movie, but we'll let it slide.
well, yeah, it's kind of hard to think that the police would just think, oh, he like offed himself,
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no way for him to actually have done it himself. If you look the way they had to cut him down and everything, like even if he stood on the toilet seat, he just wouldn't have been able to do what had gotten done to him.
Well, and at this point in time, I think the Sergeant Sergeant
Lieutenant.
the lieutenant is in fact starting to wonder what the fuck is going on because shit
I
like
don't,
this.
I don't think so. He doesn't seem very like to say anything supernatural going on. I mean, he didn't even believe Nancy when she's like, "Oh, make sure you come get him," and he left her to die. I mean, he's like, "Oh, watch the house," but he's like didn't believe her at all. So I don't think he really suspected that there was something really supernatural. I don't think he was a very good lieutenant. Like you said, I mean, if they looked at it, there would have been no way for him to have hung himself. But they didn't really look very well. I mean, I'm not a trained eye at all, and I could see that there was no way for him to hang himself. So, yeah, that's another thing where they made the lieutenant and the other cop pretty stupid. But that's nothing new for them to make cops look stupid in movies.
And the mother happens to be kind of a boozer, so while she's been on the booze, she does seem to notice that she's not sleeping her daughter Nancy at all. So she takes her to a specialist of that apparently monitors her sleep, and once she goes into the RMs M's or whatnot, that's when you have this whole scene where she's thrashing around, she gets cut, and evidently she pulls Freddy's hat straight off his head when she comes out of the dream, and that's when she realizes that shit can come out of the dream, into the real world.
Yep.
Of course, when she comes back home, her
she
mom.
She has Glenn come over and says, I just want you to do one thing for me. He's like, what's that? It's nothing. It's just stay awake and wake me if wake me up. I'm going to go in. I'm going to catch someone. I need you to wake me up. And of course,
mom
she calls
has put bars.
No, not yet. Until the second time.
One thing that didn't make sense to me was when Nancy was in the hospital and she woke up and there was that hat, and then her mother and that doctor were like, how could she or where did she find that or something? And they had been there supervising her the whole time while she was sleeping, and then they somehow thought that she had found that hat somewhere. Like, how they would have noticed if she had it there before she had fallen asleep.
Yeah, Yeah, yeah. And like I said, so she has Glenn's over, and she asked him to watch over her, and she wants to try to get Freddy, and bring him out and have Glenn hit him, and he falls asleep, of course. She finally wakes up before Freddy gets her, wakes him up, yells at him. Then her mother comes in, and he hides outside the window, and then of course. And we go on to the next day, and she decides she wants to try it again, but she comes home and there's bars on the windows, and her mother had a whole new security system put in so to protect her, uh, which in fact almost killed her instead of protecting her, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
And she calls her dad and says, "Dad, listen, I'm going to come get the guy, and you need to arrest him. I need you to come here at midnight, you know, um, and get him." And he's like, "All right, all right. Oh yes, get some sleep. That's what I've been telling you." "No, Dad, you need to come over." "Okay, I'll be there." And of course, he has no intention of coming over. Just tells one of the cops, "Watch my house, make sure nothing strange is going on." Of course, the stupid idiot cop is watching, and then Nancy's like yelling, like, "Get my father," blah blah blah, and he just stands there, like, "Oh, go to sleep." Oh. She's screaming her head off. Finally, like, "Oh, maybe I should get the lieutenant." And he comes running over, and he gets the guys over, and they bust the door down. And the smoke, of course, is coming out, and she tries to have them go down in the basement where Freddy was. Only he's already gone, and he went upstairs, and he's after the mother. And of course, him and Nancy go upstairs, and the mother is being burned by Freddy alive, and then she soaks into the bed and disappears. So even the father couldn't deny what was
I
happening
did
there.
want to mention before all this happened is I do like this moment where Glenn's father is standing outside looking across the street before all this happens. He's like, "I don't care. I don't want that girl hanging out with my son anymore."
Yeah,
You know?
he's just a jackass thinking that she's crazy. Yeah, and the mother's just saying she's just traumatized because of what happened with Tina and stuff. The mother's more compassionate, and then he gets his son killed by hanging up on Nancy and unplugging the phone, or hanging up taking the phone off the receiver.
Yeah,
So
literally.
Nancy isn't able to wake him like Glenn up, and he's not able to come over, and Freddy decides to kill Glenn, and
Yep.
the mother
And
sees.
then of course you get that moment where it's Freddie calling her on the phone, and he's like, "I'm your boyfriend now," and
And then she pulls the phone out of the thing and realizes, "Oh shit, that was stupid," which was. But then all of a sudden the phone rings again, which reminds me of the black phone. The black phone was they got that from this movie.
It kind of reminded me of The Ring when the TV is still on after they unplug it.
Everything reminds you of the Ring, but
but yeah, the phone has this tongue that goes towards her mouth, which is kind of wicked.
Oh yeah, that was a good moment.
yeah. So after the mother dies, then we have Freddie shows back up, and she's like, "I knew you'd show up," and then she's like, "I know your secret now. It's I don't believe you in you anymore, and I take away all my power I gave you." And she like turn her back on Freddie, and she goes to the door, and Freddie tries to grab her, and he like disappears, and then all of a sudden her mom's there, and she goes to the car, and Glenn's there, and Tina's there, and Rod's there, and she gets in the car, and then all of a sudden they put the roof over, and the roof is black and red striped like a striped sweater, and then all of a sudden the window is closed and the door locks up. She's like, "Quit doing that," to Glenn, and Glenn's like, I'm not doing this. And she's yelling at her mom, screaming and trying to get out of the car, and the mother's just waving, bye, bye. Then all of a sudden you see Freddy grab the mother and pull her into the window, the house, and the car drives off, and then we get the end credits and the end music. The movies ended. Like, did he actually get them later? Did they come back? What really happened, and we won't know until the sequel.
Oh yeah.
So at the end of everything, what did you all think about the production? What about you, Pro?
I love the production. I mean, I think for 1984 it was fucking spot on. Like you said, the boiler room looked like they had the steam, everything. Looked like a excuse me, a working boiler room, and everything looked really good. I mean, the production was great. I mean, I don't really see much flaws in the production itself. I mean, a few flaws in the movie itself here and there, but that happens. But the production was pretty spot on. I thought it was pretty great. Everything looked great.
Okay. What about you, Boris? What did you think about the production of this film?
I also think it was pretty good, actually. It was better than I expected because throughout the years I have heard people discussing this franchise, and I heard a lot of them weren't taking it seriously. So I thought, since it's an old movie, I thought maybe the effects and so on were not very realistic, but actually it is much better than I thought, especially as Crow says, since it's 1984. Yeah, I'm pretty surprised uh, they did all the effects so well. The only issues I had were the things we've discussed already, like when
Oh yeah, that was more storyline than production.
yeah, pretty much. Uh, the effects were great, especially when someone gets sucked into the bed, or when Freddy appears, like in the ceiling, like as if the ceiling suddenly became elastic and he is reaching down from it. That was also an interesting moment.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting kills, and there's a lot of I think the best scene is when Tina is like on the bed, and then she's climbing up the wall, and then climbing across the
Oh,
ceiling.
oh yeah.
That's just of course the best bloody one is probably Glenn. I mean, Glenn was just blood spewing out everywhere. I mean, Tina had a lot of blood too, but yeah.
Oh yeah, Glenn was really like Freddy wins fatality.
Yeah.
What about you, Tammy? What did you think about the production?
I thought it was good. I mean, what year did you say this came out again?
1984.
84. Yeah, I mean, for the time, I think CGI and stuff wasn't a big thing at the time or nothing either. I think they did pretty good on their
Practical.
effects, on the effects and everything. I do have to agree. I think the bloodiest one, of course, was Glenn. That was just
Yep.
wow.
Splow!
Sput out indeed.
Yeah, basically. I mean, how would you feel if you were his parents looking in that room? His mother.
Well, she screamed her head off, which is what you'd expect. And now you notice they never showed the father coming. Like, where the fuck was he? Like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
and
I hope Freddy got him.
I
no,
thought
he
the
didn't
production
get
was
that was
good.
the whole thing. Is he didn't get the parents. He was getting revenge on the parents for killing the kids.
Well, he did kill them. He did kill Nancy's mother, and she was. I think
Yeah.
actually they said she was the one who killed him.
Well, she was part of it. So wasn't her husband or the lieutenant, and obviously Glenn's parents had something to do with it, and Tina's parents had something to do with it too. So yeah,
And Rod.
Oh yeah, and Rod's parents.
Hmm, interesting.
I mean, Nancy's mom says her and a bunch of the parents. She didn't like state names, but we can figure it out by who got killed, which parents it was. Because, like I said, it wasn't just random murder. It was the kids, most of the kids, except for Nancy's mom, that he was targeting for the revenge of them, killing him, burning him.
And I think the production of 484 was really good. I mean, to be able to portray a man who was burned beyond belief and to create this kind of character was cool. When he was chasing Tina with that clothesline arm thing, that was kind of wicked, and when you got to look at the practical effects that went into this. I mean, there was a moment where he like cut off two of his fingers and it was squirting green blood, you know,
Yeah.
like it was like toxic waste coming out of his blood.
Or when he cut himself too, like on the side there, the same thing, or like kind of on the front there. Mm.
Oh yeah, and the different things here out. I mean, uh, the effect of Tina being carried up into the air. I mean, that to me, even to this day, looks fucking wicked.
Yeah.
And she's got that baby doll nightgown on, and she. Of course, I thought that Tina had disappeared, but I guess he left her body behind. So.
Yeah, only
Yes.
only Nancy's mom disappeared.
And I think Glenn disappeared too. Well, okay, his blood didn't disappear, but there was
Yeah, that's
no.
right. You're right. I don't remember seeing his body either afterwards.
Yeah, and they were saying you won't need a stretcher, you'll need a mop.
Yeah, because Freddy sucked him into the bed and he never did come out of it, but the blood splurted out everywhere.
Yeah.
Splow!
Oh, no!
So let's go into the music. Did anyone check out the music?
Oh yeah, I mean it was your typical older movie music where it sets the atmosphere for what's going on. Kind of a eerie music when you know someone's about to die and Freddy's after you and stuff, and it's pretty iconic music. I mean you can't you hear the music and you know it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
It was, I guess, on the soundtrack. It was "Nightmare," performed by 213.
Yeah.
So,
Whoever did, yeah, it was done. Whoever composed it did a great job. Setting up the stage. This is back when they used music to set um to set what was going on. And it's really enjoyable. You know, um, for a horror movie, it was right up there. I mean, not quite as good as Star Wars, but it's definitely like it. But
You
you know,
say you say everything reminds me of the Ring. Well, the same goes for you and Star Wars.
well, of course, I'm obsessed with Star Wars. Who wouldn't be? It's the best thing ever. Everybody should be obsessed with Star Wars. 'Cause Star Wars is the best.
no, because there are different people. If I was obsessed with Star Wars, then I would be Crow, and I don't want to be. I want to be
Again,
my
everybody
own.
should be obsessed with Star Wars, and fuck you for not saying so. So
E-
fight me.
Everyone should be obsessed with the Seekers.
Yeah, okay.
In your
Sorry.
nightmares.
Stop
To me, that
comparing a
wouldn't be
$5
a
movie to a
nightmare.
millions of dollars movie.
Uh, Sorry, what did you say?
I said stop comparing a $5 movie to millions of dollars movie.
Sorry.
Alrighty. How about you, Tammy? What did you think about the music?
I agree with everybody. It fit the movie. You could tell by the music was that something was going to happen just by listening to the music. You know, you could kind of tell that Freddy was going to be making an appearance or whatever. But that's how movies were kind of
By
that
everybody,
time
you mean
too.
me?
But yeah, I think it went well.
Okay. What about you, Boris?
Well, I also thought the music was pretty good. Well, I guess I didn't notice so much what you are saying about the music announcing when something is about to happen, but maybe that's because I don't know this franchise as well as you all probably
Yeah,
do.
you need to watch it a few more times. I mean, yeah.
Uh, Yeah, but I did notice the ending credit song, which seems interesting, and also that nursery rhyme about Freddy. That was interesting.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again. That one?
Yeah, 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 that one. And now that we are, now that
Do
we
you
are
know the
mentioning,
extended lyrics too?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you know the extended added lyrics too?
Well, there was never actually in the movie, but 11, 12, he's coming straight from hell. That was just the
uh,
thing that kid said. Um,
speaking of which, in the movie they never explained the origin of that nursery rhyme.
They end up eventually, I think, somewhat explaining it through the franchise. I think.
yeah,
Oh,
Nancy does say it's just like that old nursery rhyme. Freddy's coming for you. Like she kind of figured it out that, and
Well,
then
yeah, she's.
and then her mother does say that Freddy Krueger was, someone who took their children. He was killing
I
killing
did.
children, and
I think we skated over the scene where she was actually in the tub, and
oh yeah,
she was saying the whole nursery rhyme, and then
I love
oh,
it. They had
in
Freddy's hand
her
come up between her legs, and
that was a very erotic moment.
oh, it was, and her mother's saying, "Don't fall asleep in there. People die falling asleep." Oh, mother. And then she falls asleep and almost dies, and not because she was drowning, because Freddy almost got her.
But it is kind of cool that they were seeming like to making it kind of went with the thing her mother said. So,
Yeah.
but in any case, I as well thought the music went well for the time. Uh, I definitely have noticed how the music definitely when it comes to Freddie coming along and whatnot, you know exactly when he's going to come, you know. So that being said, let's go into our favorite scenes and favorite character or characters. Crow, what is your favorite scene or scenes and favorite character?
Well, like I said, the scene with Tina, climbing, flailing on the bed, and then getting cut, and then going up the wall, and then across the ceiling. That was just so fucking awesome. And then of course Glenn's bloody death was pretty cool too. Freddy Krueger's gonna be my favorite character, even though he's the villain, and I don't root for him, but he's just the best character, hands down. I mean, I like Nancy. She's pretty smart. She's not your typical female in distress. She's pretty smart the whole fucking time, and she figures out right away what she can do and how to stop him, and she does stop him, at least for now. So she did pretty well. So she wasn't your typical she wasn't your typical victim, and she wasn't your typical heroine either. But she was good, and she was very. I mean, she kept relying on other people that were very unreliable. First her boyfriend, and then her father.
She
Both
wasn't
unreliable,
exactly
but
your typical last girl.
but despite not being able to count on the people she should have been able to count on, she managed to survive and to stop Freddy. So yeah, she was a great hero, in my opinion. Yeah.
Alrighty. What about you, Boris?
Uh, my favorite character would probably also be Freddy because the others, well, okay, he doesn't get much character development either, but I would say the characters in this movie, well, okay, maybe except for Nancy, are not really very deeply fleshed out, and Freddy
Glenn is a little
probably.
bit.
What?
I think Glenn is a little bit. I mean, I think Glenn believes Nancy and he wants to help her, but he just keeps falling asleep. He just can't stay awake like Nancy can. I mean, she was up for 7 fucking straight days.
Yeah,
And
Glenn was a bit of a dipstick.
I wouldn't say it was a dipstick. I mean, I think he just unfortunately sleep got the better of him and wasn't able to help her out. And he seemed to believe her and he seemed to want to help, but like I said, he just kept falling asleep and wasn't very reliable, unfortunately. And I mean, he tried. I mean, even when he fell asleep in his own house, he had TV going and the stereo blasting in his ears, and so he did everything he could to stay awake, but unfortunately his body just said, "You're sleeping now," and that's it. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't think. I think it was. I disagree with that. I think he was smarter than that, and I think he did care for Nancy and he did believe her, but he just unfortunately wasn't able to help.
Yeah, true. Uh, so yeah, I would agree with you. Nancy is also a rather good character, but yeah, the others we don't really get to know them very well. So yeah, I guess Freddy would be my favorite. And favorite scene, well, probably that final confrontation when Nancy pulled him out into the real world and when they were fighting there. To me, that was probably the most intense scene, and it had some good spoon-outs as well.
Okay. What about you, Tammy? Favorite character or characters? Favorite scene?
Well, Freddy is my favorite character, of course. I like Freddy. He's my buddy.
Oh.
As far as the scene, wow. I think my favorite scene is like kind of like right at the beginning when he's going after Tina in her dream, and you get to see him like for the first time, and that he's got the long arms and he's going after her, and you finally see him. You know, I think that's my favorite because that's when you first meet him. You know,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
so
My I have to say two of my favorite scenes are Tina's death and when Freddy's claw comes up between her legs, and uh, I can just imagine the Jaws music right there. Dun, 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 just but
Yeah.
uh, Yeah, those are my two favorite scenes. Favorite character, obviously Freddy. And I do think that Nancy is a interesting hero. She's not your typical last girl, because some last girls look like they should have never survived.
Oh my.
And sometimes some of them act like they should have been the first ones to go. So, but yeah, she's a strong female character, and that's why she lasts throughout the series, you know. So, but at the end of everything, did anything else? Anyone else have anything else to add?
Oh, well. Ah.
I guess you'll never sleep again.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, hopefully you all out there that have been listening have had an enjoyable time hearing what we had to say about this first installment in the Nightmare on Elm Street um, film. So definitely go check the movie out if you have not. I don't know why you haven't yet, but definitely let us know down in the comments whether you thought we were right or not. And hopefully we'll be back next week with something
Something from you.
something from me, which I guess I haven't figured that out yet. Haven't even thought about it.
Well, what kind of host are you?
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I hope are you.
I think I'll leave all of you in suspense for a couple of days, and then I'll figure something out. I'll make sure that I let you guys know about which movie at least.
Yeah, it's just an excuse. You just don't
Within
fucking
the
know.
first, give me a couple of days. I'll think about
Is that the smoke rising from your head?
it. I've just been so busy putting this anthology together, which, ladies and gentlemen, I am putting an anthology together, by the way, called Tales of the Forgotten. And the idea of the title came from our good friend Kroll here, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Eventually, hopefully, we'll have it surface next year sometime with how long it's taken us to put the first segment together. But it's going to be introducing a character played by our good friend Boris here.
Oh, true.
Ending his character at least a little longer. No, you're definitely not rid of him yet. So, and
Until
anyway,
death gets him.
like, share, and subscribe, and hope to see you next week. Same time, same channel. Everyone say goodnight.
Bye bye.
Good night. Sweet
Freddy's
dreams.
coming for you.